Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend Ty, and I get to flip the script on you. Usually you're interviewing me, but I get to interview you today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me. And as I said pre-roll, I always love to collaborate. I love all the content you do. And anytime I'm talking to you, watching you, listening to you on my morning exercise, it's always an elevated conversation. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Well, we're going to tackle two important topics. So, first and foremost, if people don't know, you've recently added some bonus content to my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, around creative financing, sub two, marketing, all of that. We actually brought on PropStream last Saturday because you brought them in and it was like, okay, I got to get them on next. So, we're really trying to help people see what's out there. But I want to talk about your business first. You have been in the larger Bay Area for several decades. You went through before and after the last crash with me. You had a great business the last couple of years because, frankly, the market made us and we benefited from it. No,
Yep.
free to admit. The Bay Area market has changed, right? If you look at some of the numbers from Realtor.com and Zillow, they highlight San Jose, which is obviously in Santa Clara County. They highlight San Francisco. Like a lot of price drops in the Bay Area, a lot of transactions crashing, right? You and I have talked about a real estate slowdown for 6 or 9 months. But I want to talk about you in your business. What are you doing, A, to protect yourself, right? Because you and I have talked about this is coming. What, if anything, did you do? And then in video number 2, we're going to talk about what you do in the future. But set it up for us, right? You're a professional, multiple decades. You and I have been talking about this is coming, is here. But what did you do specifically, if anything?
Yeah. So a couple of things that I really love is that you like intuitively, I always had a buy box, but because you got me so focused on it and talking about it, I took the buy box. And for me, the way I looked at it is just going deeper into the niches.
Okay.
So, as an example, I do some probate work, I just do some estate and trust work. I'm even more focused on that. I've always done some pre foreclosure work. I'm more focused on that. And then, even as an example, I was focused and I was doing a lot in, like, say, so where I'm at, I'm in the East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
We would call that Contra Costa, Alameda County, and then Solano County.
Okay.
Some parts of Sacramento Metro, some parts of the Central Valley. And I've just tightened all of that up. I'm not going as far outreach. So, give you an idea, the last 4 or 5 years, I was stretched out and I was going like maybe 90 minutes, maybe about 120 miles, kind of east going into the Central Valley.
Right.
But because the market has shifted, I've actually tightened up and gotten more deeply focused on niches, but closer proximity, closer, pulling it back. Maybe I would say almost like say 45 to 60 minutes, probably about 45, 50 miles in areas that I really, really know well. So that's a big piece of it.
I think that's really smart, right? When the market is racing higher, you can get a little looser because the market bails you out. As you see winter is coming, you tighten it up because you want to de-risk the portfolio, which is very, very smart. I'm curious if you were going to take the pie, and I'll define the pie in a minute, but I want to compare like 2 years ago what you were doing to what you possibly see in the future. So when I look at your business, Ty, you have kind of a buy and hold portion.
Yep.
You have flip, which we'll call anywhere from 30 to 6 months. So you're not adding square footage, but you could be gutting a kitchen or you could just do lipstick. You could do either of that. And then you have kind of the contracts, the sub twos, the kind of quick dispositions, right? You're in and out sub, it's either a same day close or shortly thereafter. So what was the business like in those 3 buckets, say 2021 and 2020?
So it's interesting. So the one part too that we missed that wasn't said is my brokerage.
Okay.
So probably I would say the last couple of years, kind of just pre-COVID, 2019, maybe 18, 19, and then 2021,
okay,
was heavy wholesale.
Okay.
So a lot of, fixer uppers, wholesaling, relationships, selling to some hedge funds, selling to a lot of just longtime fix and flip guys that I know. And it's interesting. I've always had this theme of, because I've lost a lot of money back in 07, 08, being involved in real long extended projects, some development, some added square footage, some longer rehabs, deeper rehabs. So I've always had probably, post 07, 08, 09, I want small.
You small windows, baby. Small windows. In and out, in and out.
In and out. And otherwise it's passing on to someone else. So like as an example, anything built like kind of pre-1950s that has knob and tube wiring or lath and plaster versus drywall or galvanized pipe. I've always avoided those over the last 12 years.
Yeah. So, you would just take your chunk and then move on.
Make a fee, make maybe a little bit better, probably a lot better than a commission, but obviously the flipper takes more risk. They obviously have the bigger portion of profit. Okay. I'm fine with that. So that was pretty steady, I would say, from 17, 18, kind of going into 2021, maybe a little bit more momentum, JVing with some fix and flip folks. But even then, always short. Like I want to be in and out of a rehab, say 3 to 6 weeks on a flip. And then even now, even more so on a flip, I've passed on a lot of stuff because I'm like, that's a 90-day project.
Nope.
Not for me. Even kitchens and bathrooms.
Not today.
Not today. I'm not doing even kitchens and bathrooms. It's like, is it financeable? Can we just do paint and carpet and landscape?
Done.
Can
I get a dumpster? Paint, carpet, I'm out.
Heavy trash outs, not afraid of, right?
Not afraid,
big trash outs. Love big trash outs. Those are good.
Smelly dumpsters, no big deal, but
no big deal.
No gutting kitchens, no baths. Not today.
No. And even for like sub 2 creative, like could put those together and pass them off if they're more intensive on rehab. But I would even say more so like, I would say also in age, right? Being that I'm in now kind of, I would say I'm 51. I've been doing this since I was 21, 22. I'm like 30 years, almost 30 years in the business. I'm like, man, I don't want, used to be, I would take some bad areas, some D neighborhoods. I'll wholesale those, but but also too, here's also the shift, I would say this year, knowing that this shift was coming. Cause thank God I've been listening to you and I've been exposed to you for, I feel like the last 2 years, really the last 3 years, but we've been doing this conversation weekly for about 18, almost 20 months. It feels like
20,
I feel like I could predict, and I knew. So what I did is I got my listing business, my brokerage, my realtor retail business going again. Not heavy,
but pays the bills.
It's stable. I've got help there. I've got some, leverage there. So I've got some people that help me. I don't put on a suit and tie. I will, but I don't put on a suit and tie to go out and beg for the business. I felt like in some ways I used to do that years ago. Nothing wrong with getting dressed up, by the way. I think it looks great.
You do you. Yeah.
You do you. I just felt like, so for what I do, it's such a niche. I've gone deeper this year into the niches of where, like, as an example, I've got a deal that I'm working on, and it's, the guy passed away. I'm dealing with his surviving, it's his girlfriend. She's the personal representative of the estate. There's a family member living there. There's somebody else in a trailer. It's kind of, you could see there's maybe some drug issues. There's some neighborhood problems. It's a bit of a hoarder house, broken down cars, car parts, and all of that. And I could literally show up with my baseball hat, my sweatshirt, in shorts, and like go in there and say, okay, here's the attorney. Here's how we're going to get the people out. Here's how we're going to get the place cleaned out. You're not going to get the most amount of money, but we'll get you a fair price based on the condition. And she's like, okay, problem solved. Where do I sign?
Help me.
Help me, get me out of this. And that's where I feel like I'm just more elevated in my solution-based business, whether it's wholesaling or brokering. I'm going deeper in the rabbit hole of the niches of being a solution.
The other thing I see you doing by kind of getting tighter on your focus and going deeper in the niches is Jason Pritchard, who's my Sunday guest. He actually said something I thought was awesome is, dude, we're just going the speed limit. The last couple of years, all gas, no brake. was fun while it lasted. You couldn't, nobody could make a mistake. Today, we're not playing anything above the median. We're not doing anything crazy. It's got to be straight up lipstick, no additions. And I'm like, go in the speed limit. That makes sense, right? And again, you've been in the game 30 years, and you've gone too fast in the rain, and it could lead to some pretty spectacular crashes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because even we talked about, you use the metaphor, I love it, about race car driving and about the rain and how to get a big lead, a 15-car lead. It's, during the rain. And the key is, like you said, going the speed limit and just staying on the track.
Yeah, exactly. Don't
stay
crash
on the track. Yeah.
In order to win the race, you have to be in the race. You can't bust out. Yeah.
Right. It's just stay on the track, right? Stay on the track. Don't bust out. So that's a big focus. And it's interesting. Even I would look back and say, over the last 2 years, I watched a lot of people make huge profits, even guys that I was wholesaling to.
Yeah, me too.
I would give them the deal. I would sell them the deal. I'd make my money up front. They took on the risk and they made these huge upsides.
Yeah.
And and you could say, well, I missed out on some of that, but for me, the peace of mind, remember what Thatch was talking about?
Oh yeah. Peace of mind. Yeah.
The peace of mind of like, I didn't, make these huge giant flips, but at the same time, I also had the peace of mind and the ease. And, I really like the spot that, that we're developing. And so even now, and I'll just tease a little bit about going forward, is that I just see a lot of opportunity with taking listings and working the retail side, but also continuing to go deeper in the niches and become more of a specialist and more of a solution for people.
I like that, Ty. Well, we're going to leave it right there. Where can people find you? They want to follow you, be part of your network, go to the next event. Where would we send them?
Yeah. So just real simple, just like my name, TYLG.com. TYLG.com. You can find, we've got some replay videos of Michael and I. We've got links to interviews I've done with Pace. You can website, you can text me, all of that. It's all there at TYLG.com.
There you go. TYLG.com. Check it out. Thanks, buddy.